Hi, I'm Debbie Nelson with Nixene Publishing, coming to you from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And today we're doing something a little bit different. We have James Baker here, who is the head of the Geek at Manchester, England. So James, welcome. It's good to have you at Nixene Publishing.
Welcome, and it's great to be here today.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Today I have a question for you, looking at the impact of COVID on everything. And I'm wondering how it's affected the road to market for graphene to come out of research and into commercialization.
Sure, yeah. So first of all, as you all know now, graphene, first isolated in the University of Manchester, 2004, is still only 16 years young, as I often talk about. And if you compare that, for example, to carbon fiber, it was probably 25 or 30 years from discovery through to first products and applications. But already with graphene, we're seeing products like shoes or paints or rubber on the market today. When the COVID situation first came, I was initially quite worried because of the disruption. So clearly we had an impact because the Geek and other laboratories across the world were closed due to the pandemic. So we were unable to continue some of the research. But I'm absolutely impressed immensely by the way, not just in Manchester, but across the world, we've all adapted to this new way of online working. So an early decision we made in Manchester once we went into lockdown was to run a series of webinars, for example, and start to get the message out around what is graphene, what are the applications, what are the opportunities. Right. And previously we did that, but generally it was around a conference, it was at an exhibition, and it involved travel, a lot of planning. Whereas what's actually happened during lockdown is we've generally been able to plan and run an event within 1 or 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Not only have we been able to attract maybe an audience of 50 to 100 people, we've also recorded that information and then played it back through LinkedIn or through Twitter or through the website. So actually, whilst we've had probably a small delay in the road to market from not being able to get in our labs, we've used that time very productively to actually engage with current partners, with new potential partners, with the community. And we've actually done some very good work about building collaborations and supply chains. And just to give you one example, probably about 4 weeks ago, through LinkedIn, we spoke to a potential partner. Normally, to have a meeting in Manchester would have taken us probably several weeks to get a call in the diary. But within a week, we had a call. Within 2 weeks, we had a second call. Within 3 weeks, we had a workshop. But not only from the client who was based in the UK, he brought his engineering team from the US on the West Coast. He brought his supply chain from China and from Norway. And in 4 weeks, we went from an initial dialogue through to signing that company up as a partner, defining a whole series of projects. And if it all goes to plan, we could be launching a new graphene product in the marketplace in Q1 next year. Wow. So I just use that as one example of some of the innovation that's taken place around the use of Zoom, the use of webinars, to bring communities together where traditionally, just by arranging the travel of those people to Manchester, probably would have taken us months, if not 6 months, to get that to happen. But it's even better than that. You know, normally we like to get people to see the Geek in Manchester. What we've been able to do is to take 360-degree videos. Right. We've done live Zoom tours of the Geek. So we've also created new ways of innovating to actually get partners talking, to get them innovating. Fortunately, we're now back in the laboratories in Manchester. We went back in the middle of June. We've managed to reopen our labs and we've started to deliver projects again. So I would actually say that when we look back to the COVID situation, we won't see it actually delaying commercialization or the road to products. I think we'll see it as actually a catalyst for a growth or an acceleration with a number of partners who traditionally would probably still be talking to, who are actually now engaging with and working with going forward. So for me, it's a different type of innovation. But when we looked at what we call the Manchester model, it wasn't just about the technology. It was really about the way we work with partners, with the supply chain from both the university, but also partners who are based in the UK and across the world. So I'm actually quite positive, and I think we're going to learn from it. And going forward, we're going to continue with online seminars, webinars, as well as a much needed face-to-face discussion once we're able to do that. But I think it's going to be a catalyst for innovation and doing things much quicker than perhaps traditionally would have done, just because of the logistics of time. So generally quite positive as an answer to you.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me in many ways because of how you've been a world leader in what goes on with graphene. So to be able to pivot so quickly into using all of the technology, you really presented some fabulous webinars that I've sat in on many of them and really enjoyed. So yeah, so that's a great success. Um, and interesting to take something that's so challenging and potentially very negative and just flip it around to do something really positive. That's terrific. So
No, I think Nixene have been part of that as well for why we're here today. And generally, I think now if you now look online, you'll see a number of webinars that have been shared. We just could not have gone to all the conferences around the world to share that information as quickly as what's been achieved through this new technology.
well, James, thank you so much for all of your input and for giving us an overview on what's going on. It sounds like you've got a shift, almost like a paradigm shift in how you're doing your road to market by including this technology, possibly even after COVID.
I think it will continue. Whilst it'd be nice to get back into laboratories and into the office, I think what we'll have going forward, hopefully, is a hybrid. Clearly, we need to do the laboratory work. We actually still want partners and colleagues to come and visit the Geek, because I don't think you can avoid that face-to-face contact and working together. But there are many things that we can do online. And if I just look at my own diary, I used to be probably booked up weeks in advance. Now I seem to have a bow wave of 1 or 2 weeks. So generally we can commit and we can support doing these events. On a personal note, I used to drive for 2 hours every day into Manchester. So not only am I using fuel, I'm creating pollution. So it's also great, I think, post-COVID, people are going to think more about environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
So not using your car, not flying, not traveling. And again, graphene plays a role around recycling and reuse of materials. So again, I think environmental sustainability, which is one of our key themes, will increasingly be important post-COVID as well, which will encourage us to continue to operate in this manner going forward as well.
Yeah, I see graphene as being a solution to so many things. So, and you're right in the thick of it. So all the best to every endeavor that you have there, James, and I look forward to speaking with you again at some point. You have a great week, and thank you so much for meeting with us.
Thank you all, and same to yourself. Thank you.